Now remember, this crisis in the Congress comes on a day when the Aadmi party had a singular achievement to its record. Bhagwant Singh Mann took oath as Chief Minister today in Punjab, becoming the first non-Akali, non-Congress Chief Minister of Punjab, and this becomes the second state after Delhi to be ruled by AAP, the first full state it has. The Aadmi party leader Arvind Kejriwal is now planning to go national, but a lot could depend on how the Mann government performs. Why will all eyes be on Punjab in that sense over the next few months? A report from Ashutosh Mishra.
मैं भगवंत मान ईश्वर दी सौं चुकदा हां कि मैं कानून द्वारा स्थापित भारत दे संविधान दे प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा ते निष्ठा रखांगा.
A new dawn in Punjab. Bhagwant Mann has become the 17th Chief Minister of the border state.
मंत्री वजों अपने कर्तव्यां नूं वफादारी ते शुद्ध अंतकरण नाल निभावांगा.
The swearing-in ceremony was a grand affair. Thousands of AAP supporters danced to the tunes of Rang De Basanti Chola as Punjab got its first non-Congress, non-Akali Chief Minister. Mann stormed to power, selling the famed Delhi model of Arvind Kejriwal, promising cheaper power, better healthcare facilities and direct cash transfer to women. While he makes good on these promises, Mann also faces a series of challenges plaguing Punjab for decades. These include an estimated debt of 3 lakh crore rupees, thriving drug mafia, sand mining rackets, systemic corruption and high levels of unemployment.
हम सब मिलके पंजाब के 3 करोड़ लोगों के साथ पंजाब की दशा और दिशा दोनों बदलेंगे.
काम करांगे बेरोजगारी तो लेके खेती व्यापार करप्शन स्कूल अस्पताल.
The expectations are naturally high. People of Punjab voted for AAP, discarding the Congress Akali duopoly for the first time ever. And now Punjab waits for AAP to deliver.
सब तो पहले तो बेरोजगारी है जी. बेरोजगारी का मसला हल करेंगे. दूसरा विद्या शिक्षा, तीसरा हैगा भ्रष्टाचार खत्म करेंगे.
आपको उम्मीद है कि ये कर पाएंगे?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
गांव में पंजाब सबसे ज्यादा कनाडा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, यूएस, यूके भागने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो लगता है कि उधर आज जो उन्होंने कहा कि भाई अब यहीं पर रहेंगे, इसी को बनाएंगे, उसमें कुछ सुधार होगा?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सुधार होगा जी. जो ऑस्ट्रेलिया नहीं जाएंगे, कहीं नहीं जाएंगे, जहाँ रोजगार यहीं मिलेगा, फिर तो बच्चे जाएंगे.
Raging unemployment had aggravated the drug problem, an issue that even inspired a Bollywood hit, उड़ता पंजाब.
नशे की बहुत ज्यादा बात होती थी, गांव-गांव में फैला है. कितनी बड़ी समस्या मुसीबत आप देखते हैं भगवंत मान के सामने इस फ्रंट पर काम करना?
है तो मुश्किल है बहुत. जो पिछली पार्टियां हैं उन्होंने बहुत बढ़ावा दिया हुआ है. चिट्टा चुट्टा जो भी है उसका बहुत बढ़ावा है. मुश्किल तो है पर ठीक करेंगे.
इनकलाब जिंदाबाद.
AAP's governance in Punjab, a full state it will govern for the first time, will decide how far the party can take the Kejriwal model as it pads up for a national innings.
From delivering on the front of health and education, eradicating corruption, the drugs menace, and moreover creating the maximum sources of employment and livelihood. And these are the challenges that people want Bhagwant Mann to urgently give his attention. Well, that's the expectations here on the ground by these people from Bhagwant Mann. In Punjab, this is Ashutosh Mishra.
Can the Aadmi party then take over the Congress's space? Will the Hindi heartland accept AAP? Is the Congress a sinking ship? Who can really fight the BJP better, the Congress or AAP? Questions to be raised tonight on a day when the Aadmi party's government has been sworn in Punjab. Jasmine Shah is Vice President, Chairperson and an AAP spokesperson based in Delhi. Rahul Verma is Fellow at the Center for Policy Research. Supriya Srinath is Congress's spokesperson. Let's get straight to that big question. Really today, do you expect Jasmine Shah, the Aadmi party, making a national pitch based on what we saw today in Punjab, or do you concede that it is still a long way to go before the AAP can call itself a national alternative? That winning Punjab is one thing, creditable though it is, it isn't about, at the moment, capturing the soul of India.
Rajdeep, I don't think anybody is waiting for the Aam Aadmi Party to say whether we are going national or not. The reality is the day the Punjab results were announced and the picture was clear, Aam Aadmi Party's acceptance as a national party and a welcome, a heartwarming welcome by the people across India was very, very clear. And it has started today. The invitation and the love and the warmth with which people across the country. You must have heard MLAs and ministers in Haryana and Himachal saying कि अब तो काम कर लो वरना अरविंद केजरीवाल आके आपके स्कूल ठीक करना शुरू कर लेगा. So the question for us is not whether we are going to replace Congress, who will be better, against BJP, Congress or AAP. The question the people of the country want to know is who will finally fix our schools. For 75 years, why does our government schooling system still sort of have to look like a red piece of work? Who will fix our healthcare system? Who will finally fix issues of employment, unemployment? So these are the long-standing issue. And today, if there is one face that inspires confidence, who has unquestionable honesty and who has a track record of delivery, in just 5 years, we have turned around sector after sector in Delhi. And that is the Kejriwal model of governance that is today being talked about, not just across India. Internationally, people are seeing the rise of Aam Aadmi Party as a hope, because you see, as a country, our GDP is going down, inflation is sky high, unemployment is at a 50-year high. So who's going to fix these issues? Only a party that is founded on the idea of honesty, corruption-free governance, and the people who are winning in Punjab and the MLAs. I mean, look at their backgrounds; they are professionals. You have 13 doctors, you have 7 lawyers, you have an MBA from Oxford University. These are the professionals who are finding space today only in Aam Aadmi Party. No other party seems to be interested in such people. So that is why across the country, AAP today stands as the hope.
You say you stand for hope. Supriya Shrineth, when you hear Jasmine Shah speaking, do you see someone who's emerging in a way as a potential challenger to the space that the Congress once occupied, that as your footprint shrinks, the Aam Aadmi Party could now look at first taking on the Congress's mantle as a credible national alternative? Jasmine Shah says AAP represents hope, represents change, the Congress in a sense the old order.
Quite frankly, with all due respect, and I would like to congratulate them on being sworn in Punjab today, and I hope they can put the law and order situation under control because they haven't had previous experience with that in Delhi. I do wish them all the very best. It's a sensitive border state. But having said that, I think there are two things that I want to put forth today, because I've now been on innumerable debates with you and other places on how AAP is being projected as somebody who can replace the Congress. I just have one question to ask of the viewers via you today. What is the space that the Congress occupies? And I want to ask one question. When Delhi was torn with riots, where was the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal? Yes, he did not have the police under him, but he was protesting at Rajghat. He did not even visit the sites. The Congress has occupied for 75 years, when people ask, the space of a secular, inclusive India. The AAP is too eager to be Hindu before the BJP is too eager to question us for 75 years. What is AAP's idea of India? I respect the fact that they talk about education. I am on board with mohalla clinics and, infrastructure and all of that. But what is your vision for India? Why is it that you never take on Modi head on when it comes to majoritarian, polarized, and may I dare say anti-minority politics? I have not heard one spokesperson of AAP, or for that matter, their national chief Arvind Kejriwal, ever come close to that. There's never a head-on collision. They're too happy to be supported by the RSS in case the BJP fails. They're too happy to occupy that.
You're making a serious. Supriya Shrineth, on what basis? No. You have said that. You're claiming that the AAP is being supported by RSS. You really believe that?
I do believe that the AAP is too eager to outdo the BJP when it comes to majoritarian, when it comes to being projected as a devout Hindu. The same chief minister who kept quiet when Delhi was torn with riots was seen celebrating on all TV channels through paid media Diwali with all his ministers. What is this all about? When was the last time Arvind Kejriwal put out a statement against what happened to the minorities in the CA and RC
What's wrong with celebrating
when was the
Diwali?
last time he went visiting?
No,
the
what's
site
wrong
of a
with
riot?
celebrating
What
Diwali?
is-
What's wrong with celebrating
there's nothing
Diwali?
wrong with it.
The AAP has won in a state with the
Very good
largest,
question.
with one of the large religious
Very good
minorities
question.
of the country, which is Sikhs. Are you saying AAP is anti-minority?
Rajdeep, that's a very good question that you're asking. But the question that, the direction in which I'm taking this debate and the question that you're not asking me is, why was Arvind Kejriwal not present when Delhi was being hit by riots?
Okay,
where was he?
Okay.
Why was there not one statement Mr. Arvind Kejriwal gave on Kapil Mishra or on Anurag Thakur, who incited the public? Why does Mr. Arvind Kejriwal never talk about the majoritarian polarizing politics of the BJP? Because he's too comfortable playing the B team. And yes, I say it with all the responsibility bestowed on me here. What
Jasmine
is
Shah,
the vision for
1
India?
minute now,
That's the only question.
Jasmine Shah,
Do
two
we
questions
just
come to you. One
Congress
question, ma'am, now, Jasmine Shah, one is what is your idea of India? And B, the specific charge which is being made that Arvind Kejriwal, when riots took place in Delhi in 2020, was seen to be relatively silent because he feared a backlash from the Hindu community, and therefore he too is being accused of being, dare I say, BJP light or Hindutva light.
Rajdeep, let me answer the second question first. And, this is very, very typical vintage Congress because, more than BJP, they have a lie factory and they keep spinning and uttering these lies, without any shame. There are pictures of the CM and the deputy CM to be the first amongst any of the parties. I will not even ask Congress question, where were you? Because this is not about whataboutery. Today, the people of Delhi believe in Arvind Kejriwal. There are no two questions about that. We were the fastest to dispense compensation after the riots, and whatever was there within our powers, we have done that. But this, incessant ridiculing other parties as if it is their right to be the natural opposition party and never talking about their work. This is the reason why Congress has been reduced to a ridicule today. In the entire Punjab election, we were the only one talking about कि देखो हमने दिल्ली में स्कूल ठीक कर दिए, हमने अस्पताल मोहल्ला क्लिनिक्स बना दिए. Even the Congress spokesperson here is saying कि हाँ मानते हैं आपने अच्छा काम किया. अरे भाई आप भी तो बताओ ना, आप तो 75 years
they want to know what is your idea of India, Jasmine. Jasmine, they want to know what is your idea of India.
Our idea of India.
No,
What
ma'am.
is your vision for
No,
India?
1 minute. No, Supriya ji, 1 minute. Yeah, go
You
ahead.
asked us about our idea of India. Our idea of India was answered by Arvind Kejriwal ji the day Punjab won again, and he has repeated this many times. Our idea is enshrined in the vision of Baba Saheb Ambedkar and Bhagat Singh. What do they want? What do they want to see? They want to see that India emerges as an educated nation. We talk about India एक सुपर पावर बनेगा. अरे कैसे बनेगा? आप बच्चों को आपने कभी शिक्षा तो दी नहीं. We want rich or poor, a son of a driver or a judge or an officer to get world-class education, public-funded world-class education.
Right.
We want fairness. We want justice for everyone. Why are today the poor still, looking at largesses of the government across the country? Today, you look at what happened during COVID. You look at the status of healthcare. You look at higher education. You look at
It was your government in Delhi, sir, when many of the state hospitals also failed us in COVID 2.0. Let's be honest, you're still a work in progress. You can't claim as if you've turned Delhi into some kind of a magical land.
I'm not saying that.
No.
Rajdeep,
Yeah, so let's be very clear.
I agree with that. I agree. Let me respond to that. I fully agree that if it took 75 years to bring India to such poor level of development, we will take some time. But today, if you can look at any state with any amount of hope, it is Delhi. And I'll tell you why. Today, Delhi government is the only one spending 15% of its budget. Year on year, we spend 15% of our budget on health. We spend 25% of our budget in education. Now ask me one Congress, give me an example, Supriya, of one Congress state in the history of India since independence that spends 15% on health and 25% on education. You want to talk about idea of India? Today you answer in this debate, what is your idea of India? Have you ever spent on education or health? You tell me today.
Yes, Supriya Srinath, and then I'll go to Rahul Verma. You want,
Rajdeep, can I please come in?
Please come in very short. Give me a short response. The Congress believes everyone else must spell out its idea of India. What is your idea of India? What is your model state? 1 minute, sir. No. Jasmine, 1 minute.
That's a very precise question. Have you spent as much as our government is spending in any state in the last 75 years?
Okay, bottom line is they claim they have a Delhi model. What is the Congress's model, Supriya Srinath?
I think the Congress's model is for everybody to see. We kept an India that was inclusive, we kept an India that was secular, an India that has been torn at its seams, an India that's fabric is being distorted, and the Aam Aadmi Party doesn't even call that out. That is their idea of India. And my friend, because you quoted Bhagat Singh, I will just in 10 seconds quote a line that Bhagat Singh wrote. The real duty of the newspapers is to educate, to cleanse the minds of people, to save them from narrow sectarian divisiveness and to eradicate communal feelings, to promote the idea of common nationalism. Please walk the talk on Bhagat Singh. It's good you took the oath in his village, but understand Bhagat Singh was vehemently opposed to communalism, something that you dare not open your mouth on.
You are not
Can I just ask my producer? See,
when you
both made your points. I've given both of you time to explain where you stand. Just a minute, Jasmine. Just a minute. Rahul Verma, you're listening patiently. I have some numbers. You're a number man. Because let's look at the bigger picture. Winning Punjab is a huge achievement. You know, it's now won 2 states and it's less than a 10-year-old party. But when I look at overall numbers, BJP still has 1,443 MLAs, Indian National Congress 753 MLAs, AAP is still at 156. Am I to understand that, are we overreading what happened in Punjab? That come tomorrow Himachal, Gujarat, the AAP can just spread into these states, or is AAP a work in progress?
Yes, we are overreading, but as you rightly pointed out, they are in a good position now to make inroads into other states. It does not mean that overnight AAP will become a national party and will have presence in many states. Even in Punjab, and we have to remember this, that the first 4 MPs that Aam Aadmi Party won in 2014, they came from Punjab, not Delhi. So Aam Aadmi Party had traction in Punjab for 8 years. In 2017, they didn't win, but they performed extremely well and they became main opposition party in the House. So what you saw in 2022 was a build-up of 8 years, and such a situation is or was unique to Punjab. It's not the same situation in Gujarat and in Himachal Pradesh. Congress party had to remove its chief minister. Akali Dal BJP coalition broke apart. Farmers movement had resonance. So Punjab situation was unique. And in that situation, AAP managed to capitalize on the gains. I do think that AAP always had national ambitions. In 2014, they contested nationally, though they didn't do well at that time. So AAP is, and even in Goa, they now have 2 MLAs. So they are going to move into states like Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat, and they will, they are likely to make some gains. Can they catch up Congress at this moment or in the next 2 years? I think unless some extraordinary situation develops as it developed in Punjab, I don't think AAP will be basically able to catch up Congress. Congress still has a greater national presence and will have more MLAs or MPs at its command. And as Supriya pointed out, and that's right, AAP at the moment is focusing on the governance issues, and governance issues do have their own resonance. So Delhi model has its traction. But at some point of time, AAP will also have to have a little bit more clear ideological platform. And those ideological platforms are not on governance issues, because all parties would agree, though they might not be performing well on, say, health or education. Ideological platforms are actually on contentious issues. So AAP will have to develop that clarity, and that clarity will come with time. So final point, going forward, AAP is definitely a rising party, but they will need a lot of time to become where they think they are going.
You know, Jasmine, the point is, you keep saying the Delhi model. Punjab is a very difficult state to govern. Look at Punjab's numbers when it comes to their fiscal debt at the moment. Look at Punjab's numbers when it comes to unemployment. I'll put those numbers up in a moment. We look at Punjab's numbers when it comes to a state which is struggling when it comes to electrification, when it comes to schooling, health. The scale is much bigger than even Delhi's crisis. So, you know, the problem is, you've raised a lot of expectations. You won this huge victory, but with rising expectations also comes the fear that if you don't meet them, the AAP balloon could burst. Is that a fear that you have, that handling Punjab, particularly with a potentially hostile center, won't be easy?
Rajdeep, we are not saying it is going to be easy. In fact, if you ask me, AAP should have happened to Punjab 20 years back or 10 years back, because let's remember, why did Punjab get here? Punjab was never like this. It was one of the most prosperous states in India, very hard-working people, very productive land, and very prosperous. In 50 years, we've had roughly 25 years Congress government and 25 years Akali and BJP government. The result of which is you have 3 lakh crores of debt that has piled up. Aam Aadmi Party's biggest asset is our honesty. Let's not forget the number one ailment. Sector after sector you go in Punjab today, you see sand mining, you see there is a mafia. You see the entire issue of the drug addiction is because political forces and police, and there are many other nexus was so huge that no political party was going to be able to tackle it except for AAP. And similarly, many other sectors, there is a tanker mafia, there is a liquor mafia. So Aam Aadmi Party today presents the best hope, because everybody knows that each and every MLA and the CM of Punjab, Bhagwant Mann, he stands for honesty. He stands for the idea of a common man. You look at who are the MLAs today who have won, and you get the idea of why today Punjab's best chance and best hope for fixing itself and preparing itself for future is the Aam Aadmi Party.
Very quickly, therefore, Supriya Shinde, you see, the AAP can today say what Jasmine says because they don't come with the same historical baggage that you do. Today, when the Congress goes to any state and says we are going to eradicate corruption, people will say, but look at your past history. You see, you come with the baggage. They come, in a sense, as a startup. Is that one due, while you have the old organization, they have the energy of a startup. Do you concede that or not?
What you call baggage, I call heritage. And I don't think, we can remove our heritage and we can put our history aside. I think to pave the way for the future, you do need history intact. I will only say one very last thing. 753 MLAs you pointed out, 156 of the AAP, 1 MP versus that doesn't matter. What matters is what is your vision for this country. The fact that there are certain sections that are very upset with Mahatma Gandhi not being visible in Punjab offices today, I think is a serious cause of concern. We cannot sideline the Mahatma. The BJP does it. You increasingly sound like the BJP when you counter us. At least counter us differently. Do not counter us with the same argument that the BJP gives. That's why I say you are the B team.
BJP cites you the budget for education and health. I don't remember that.
Please bring good ideas to the table. Please relax. I am telling you where the budget for health and education is. The budget for health and education is important, but so is the peace and tranquility of this country. So is the rights of minorities.
Give me one state where the Congress has built a model state. Supriya Shinde, I want to know which is your model state. Which is your model state at the moment? You're in charge in Punjab, Chhattisgarh.
There are several.
You are in charge in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. Give me one state which you can claim, this is what we will make India. All very well to talk of idea of India in the abstract.
Is a model state.
Which is your model state?
No. 1 second, Rajdeep. I am not talking in the abstract, and you jolly well know I'm not talking in the abstract. I am talking about Muslims in Delhi, what happened to them, and Kejriwal kept quiet over that. As far as my idea, the model state is concerned, why is Chhattisgarh not a model state? Why can Rajasthan not be a model state? Look at what Chhattisgarh has done to farmers, their rights. Look at what Chhattisgarh has done to stray cattle that UP is still struggling with. There is so much that our governments have done. Look at what Rajasthan has done with a health insurance policy for all its citizens. There is so much that our states. Are you telling me that this country was built in 2014? Or are you telling me that 26,000 COVID deaths in Delhi account for nothing? That's your model. The right to education came in 2009. Yes, you capitalized on that and you did build up something. But 26,000 COVID deaths is on you, and that is your model according to me. But your idea of India, nobody knows about. Your vision for this country, nobody knows about. Secular or polarized, you side on the side of people who are talking majoritarian, exclusivist views of this country, because you choose to keep quiet. And in a scenario like today, if you keep quiet, silence is actually worse than joining them. Your silence is what is worrying. And your silence, you believe, is going to get you votes. I believe defies the idea of India that I believe in.
I'll leave it there. I wish I had more time, but I appreciate your joining us and giving us what you all both talk of, your idea of India versus the Delhi model. We'll see which model is more accepted by the people over the next 12 months. The next 12 months will see many more such battles where the Congress and AAP will be contesting for a similar political space. Thank you both, all three of you, very much for joining me.